What's going on YouTube? CloverBros here, back with another Scarlet Violet video, and today we're going to be spotlighting Landorus-Incarnate, the other special form of Landorus. So I feel like the other one, Therian, is going to get a lot more usage than this one, the Incarnate one, but that doesn't mean it's not good, right? And in fact, just as the title of the video says, it just won the recent NinoPokeBros tournament. That was a 150 plus person tournament, so that's like our first real big tournament with Regulation D. Yes, I know there were some other tours like from Cobalt, overseas that he's been hosting, but this one on our side is like the very first big one, right? There's been like other smaller tours, of course, that we've shown in our videos, but as far as like this magnitude of like 150 plus, it came out on top, and we'll show you what that team is in a second. But again, there's like pros and cons to both of them, right? So of course, with this Landorus, one of the big selling points is of course its ability, Sheer Force, which means, any attack with like a secondary effect, that's gone, but in exchange, I give you more damage, right? And of course, it's going to get its trademark move, Sandsear Storm, okay? So if you just partner this with like a Life Orb, okay, which is, the very common item on it, like this is basically doing extra damage along with Sheer Force. So now it's basically Precipice Blades, but like in a special variant, which is actually really good. And unlike Groudon and Landorus, both of them get intimidated, right? This does not, because you are a special attacker, right? Base 115 special attack is really good. And the fact that this is 101 speed versus 100, right? That means you get to outspeed other threats. So imagine something like another base speed 100 Pokemon like Zapdos, right? So Zapdos is a base 100 mon, which means it gets capped at 167 if you go with a speed nature, right? But Landorus-Incarnate says, you know what, I get to outspeed you because, again, I have one base speed faster than you, right? So 168 is where it caps. Okay, now you don't get to outspeed Garchomp, but that's okay, all right? Because at the very least, this is still a relatively decent speed tier for Landorus, and we have ways to make it faster, okay? But, the whole idea with special Landorus, along with the Sheer Force Life Orb stuff, is, again, it gets, like, a lot of good coverage moves in terms of, like, special attacks. So for instance, this also gets Psychic, okay? So like Psychic is doing a lot more damage now, and you can also use this to like potentially snipe Amoonguses, which is actually really important if you're able to do that. Then it also gets Sludge Bomb, which is another common tech choice that you have on Landorus. Is really good against like other grass types, and especially like other fairy types in general. Like a lot of things are going for like Terra Fairy, defensive typings now. So Sludge Bomb is actually really good against those two. So again, just like the power of Landorus is actually very strong. And I feel like it's really good on those hyper offensive teams, that we showed in like the previous video, which is kind of how we're gonna do like a quick team building later in the video of it, before I show you some tournament results. But again, just to go down like the coverage move tree, this thing even gets like, well, no, we already have Psychic. But this is my favorite tech choice right here. The Grass Knot over here, which is really good at like sniping Ursalunas and also Urshifu Water Strike, right? Rapid Strike is what I meant. So I like the grass coverage there. I think it's very important that you can do that. It gives you a weapon against the Ursaluna and pretty much pins it for that matter. All right, this thing even gets Nasty Plot, bro. Oh my goodness. Imagine this thing next to Amoonguss, bro. Oh my god. And then you click a spread move. That's not fair. It also gets Calm Mind. Okay, so you can also go with like the bulky route and just go for a Calm Mind boost. So that's another way you can do this. Okay, I think there's a lot of different ways you can use this. It just really depends on the team that you have itself. Okay, but in terms of like coverage, it definitely gets a lot. Substitute is also a thing that I've seen. And then if you just run Protect, this is really good again on those hyper offensive teams that don't really like have so much of a Trick Room counter, but just a way to deal with it. Because again, the whole idea with setting up sub is, again, the turn that they set up Trick Room, you can just go for your substitute, and then, you can just protect, and then all of a sudden you just stall 2 turns. Then they have to use their 3rd turn to break your sub, and then, you can protect the next turn, and then that's it. The Trick Room turns are gone, more or less. So this is one way to use Landorus in terms of, like, those hyper-offensive teams, just to, like, help you stall those Trick Room turns, okay? You can even like consider Taunt on this, but like I feel like just the special attack damage that you get from this thing is really nice. But again, what I like to do is just go for Grass Knot. This is what I've been testing, and it's actually been really good in terms of the coverage that you can get into a lot of different things. especially things that go for like Terra Water defensive typing. Grass Knot just snipes that, which is actually really, really convenient. Okay, but again, like with your flying immunity, I'm sorry, ground immunity and a flying type, Regieleki is going to have its problems. Iron Hands is going to have its problems. So you know, I really think like this is a pretty good option on Landorus. As far as like the genies are concerned, I don't know if it's going to get as much uses as the other one, because the other one's really good with Intimidate, but still you can still really use this as a, you know, a really good 1-2 punch. Okay, so from here, what I'm going to show you is just some tournament results that have been using Landorus to a pretty successful degree, and just show you some ideas that people are using with it. So this way, if you want to team build your own Landorus-Incarnate team, you know, hopefully I can give you some ideas with this video. All right, so let's take a look at some of those results. Okay, so now we're in the Limitless tournament page, and now we're looking at the winning team from the Andrew over here, 11-2 record, and it did feature Landorus-Incarnate. By the way, if you're trying to get Regulation D practice, I highly recommend, again, just taking part in some of these online tours on the Limitless website. Find one that suits your time zone, and you know, sign up and get some, you know, needed practice before the format officially starts going live on the ladder, right, in card. Okay, but anyway, let's look at Andrew's team. So basically, he's running double Genie Core, which is pretty good here. So here's the Thunderous with speed control with Eerie Impulse. I'm sorry, Thunder Wave, and then, you know, special damage neutering with Eerie Impulse, and then Taunt, of course. Really nice. And here's that substitute move that I was talking about. So shout outs to Andrew for, you know, making sure that, you know, whatever I'm saying actually makes sense. All right, because if you look at this, right, how do you stall the Trick Room stuff here? Well, first of all, you have Fake Out Rillaboom, so you know, you can do, you know, things that way. You have a lot of Pokemon with Protect, so you can stall that way and stagger your pieces. You have Taunt on your Thunderous, which is really convenient. And like I said, you know, you just sit in front and click Substitute, and that's one way you can deal with those passive Trick Room teams that really need that turn to set it up. Okay, but as far as like the rest of the team, so here you go, Fire, Water, Grass Core with the Rapid Urshifu, Rillaboom, Heatran. We did a whole video on that about 2 or 3 videos ago, so make sure you take a look at that, because you're going to be seeing a lot of these, you know, Fire, Water, Grass Cores with Rillaboom, Urshifu, and you know, the Heatran. And it is Terra Grass Heatran with Earth Power over here. So 3 attacks, Goggles, Goggles and Terra Grass? Okay. Yeah, I guess you can still use the Goggles to get by the Among Us stuff. So I guess there's some merit there. And then here we go, Sacred Sword over Haze, right? So that truly means, like, you know, Dondozo is not being utilized at the given moment. All right, Fake Out Woodhammer, U-Turn, Knockout, very standard Rillaboom set. Also, Mystic Water Urshifu is really good. Imagine you had like Rain Dance on this. I feel like Rain Dance would be really good on a team like this, right? Just because, like, again, you have Terra Grass Heatran, you have a Rillaboom, you have a Chien-Pao, you know, all things that, you know, don't really like, you know, fire type attacks necessarily, right? But again, I guess you have Flash Fire over here, but, you know, Rain Dance would be really good, just helping the Urshifu deal more damage and so on and so forth. But that's another kind of archetype. But again, Landorus is doing relatively well here. It's a big damage dealer, right? Combined with the Balance Core. So I like this a lot. Then if we go back into the tournament, then we look at another 5-3 result here, which is still a pretty good record, all things considered, in a big tour like this. And here we go, from Pierce 66. So this is the Rain Dance archetype, where they're saying, you know what, we're going to go with Bleak Windstorm, and as well as Sandsear Storm in the rain. Okay, that's why there's Rain Dance over here. And, you know, you're just basically going for double spread move, going for those burns, going for the speed reduction. And again, still a Life Orb set. Rock Slide, you know, so that's also very interesting. I wonder if this is a mix set. I'm not sure. But here's the Sludge Bomb. Like we said, a very popular tech move choice here. But again, Heatran, Rillaboom, Urshifu. No surprise there. Yet again, a very common Balance Core. Then there's a Sneasler here with Rillaboom, which I've seen a lot because this is a Grassy Seed Sneasler. So you're getting a defense boost. All right, then you activate Unburden, and now all of a sudden you're a bulky sweeper going for stuff like, you know, Dire Claw and the occasional acrobatics, right? So I really like Sneasler and Rillaboom. I feel like I want to do a whole video on these two. I feel like they could really do something together, especially on a hyper offensive core like this. But more or less the same idea that Pierce has with Andrew. Just the only main difference is we're using Tornadus as opposed to the Thunderous as our prankster genie. All right, and this is the Rain variant with Rain Dance. Makes a lot of sense. And again, you still see like a little bit of a variance in the moveset over here. And this is a focus sash Urshifu rather than you know, a Mystic Water one. So that's really, really good. Then if we keep going back into the tour, I feel like there was another one where there was like another decent result that had another idea behind it. Let me just click Landorus over here. Yeah, so Super Meme Bros. All right, so let's look at this one. Okay, and there's actually a few of them that did relatively well with Landorus. Let's actually look at all of these. So basically, Mr. Meme Bros over here is saying, you know what, our Trick Room answer is actually just going to be a Pokemon with Trick Room in Prison with the Scream Tail, so that's also relatively fine. And again, here's the other Genie core still with Rain Dance, so still another consistent idea. And here's Urshifu and Rillaboom. Okay, no Heatran over here, but that's okay. You have Regieleki fully committing to like this hyper offensive core, with still a little bit of a hint of balance. But Sandsear Storm, Sludge Bomb, Terra Blast, Terra Flying. Again, so Landorus does get that this gen, you know, just because there is Terrestrialization. So now you get a special flying type attack, which is, again, something you can consider as well. So yeah, if you want to go that route, but everything else is just relatively the same. Low kick Rillaboom is also very interesting. I did not know it got that, but it got it. All right. Then if you go back, okay, then if we look at what's a CD over here? Oh, is that basically the same team? I think it is, right? Yeah, I think. Oh, they may have built together. Yeah, this is pretty much the same team. All right, so that's pretty cool. I respect that. Well, what about Jake over here and Quiver Dance? So we'll take a look at some of these guys. You know, these are still like decent results. And it's still early, right? So people are still trying different things. So basically they're saying, okay, you know, we have Tornadus anyway, so let's go like full HO with like Chiyu, Tornadus, Landorus. So now the idea here is Chiyu is just making Landorus do even more damage as well as the Tornadus. And then we add Regidrago for like even more spread damage with like Dragon Energy shenanigans. So like I can just totally see this, right? Like you lead Tornadus Rillaboom, you set Tailwind, right? Then you turn out, or like hard switch potentially into something like Regidrago, and then next turn you just go for like, you know, you switch into Chiyu, just click Dragon Energy and just rip face, right? I can totally see some combinations like that, right? It's just very risky because your U-turn is going to be faster in that case. But like I could totally see the pivot action here, and King Gambit just adds a little bit of balance against some of those Trick Room teams, especially like Terra Dark Black classes, Swords Dance shenanigans. So shout outs to Jake. And then let's take a look at Quivers one last time. So what are we doing over here? So ideally, all right, so extra sensory, you know, over psychic, I don't know, maybe, cool. But then again, Sandsear Storm, Sludge Bomb, but no Tornadus, no second Genie, but you do see Rillaboom, Iron Bundle, and Chiyu. Okay, so still the Chiyu concept is still prevalent here, you know, just like Jake. So you can always do shenanigans like that. So hopefully, you know, you get some ideas with some of these teams as far as what you want to do. And again, here's the Fluttermane over here, Galarian Zapdos. Okay, all right, very, very interesting. But again, so what have we seen so far? We've seen like balance additions with like Rillaboom, Ursh, and or Heatran. Okay, then we've seen like a second Genie, whether it be like, you know, the Tornadus with the Rain Dance shenanigans or the Thundurus. Okay, so hopefully you get some ideas now of how to really, really utilize this Landorus. Okay, then we take a look at over here, another tournament. Torneo Poder VGC number 4 Regulation D. Okay, so another tournament. Okay, and this one had Pelipper setting the rain, and now you have Basculegion with, of course, you know, Swift Swim. And here's the Landorus again with the Sandsear Storm, Sludge Bomb, Focus Blast, and Psychic. No Protect here. Okay, just all offense. Very interesting. And then here's another Thundurus, you know, with Wild Bolt Storm, you know, and then Taunt, Nasty Plot. Oh my goodness, this is a crazy team. All right. So another idea that you can also consider is just putting Pelipper instead of your Tornadus. But yeah, that's just another thing. This one, again, another tournament. This is from the Nemi Tour, IR Nemesis. So this person, Angel B. So again, similar idea with the Sneasler Rillaboom concept, you know, with the Grassy Seed stuff. But then here's the Thundurus yet again. But this time, this Thundurus is finally using Rain Dance, right? Then you have Thunderbolt, Eerie Impulse, then Thunder Wave. So again, double Genie idea with Sneasler Rillaboom. Then there's Mousehole Annihilate. Oh, that's very interesting. I did not know that people were still playing this in Regulation D. But again, you know, it's still very early. People are trying everything. You know, there's no like real meta set, you know, so to speak. But, you know, at the very least, we get to see some ideas with some of these tournament results in terms of like our own team building. All right, so we've got some ideas. So now let's head back into the team builder on Showdown, and let's see if we can give you just a another Landorus-Incarnate team, the Clover way, and just to get you guys something started for Regulation D. Okay, so here we are. We're back on Showdown here. So honestly, like, I'm just gonna take the data that I saw and like pull some ideas together just to some stuff that had like good results already. I'm just gonna recreate it. All right. So why can't I just go Tornadus here yet again? And we'll go with the Covert Cloak set with Tailwind, Bleak Windstorm, Rain Dance, and Taunt. You might as well, right? You might as well, because again, you're clicking Rain Dance, you're clicking Bleak Sandsear Storm, 100% accuracy in the rain. Might as well utilize this combination, right? And why don't you just go full hyper offense, more or less, and just have one of these Pokemon have substitute, just to like deal with Trick Room besides, having Taunt shenanigans. So let's use the cord that we used in the other video previously, which is again a very, very splashable, 4 Pokemon to start out with. So we're gonna go with Urshifu Rapid Strike. Okay, we're gonna go with Dragonite, and we're gonna go with Shenpao here. And you might as well, right? Because again, you have 3 Pokemon with priority moves, all right? And unless they have it in DD, their Trick Room just does not matter, right? So the main thing now is who gets what item, right? So we already decided that this is getting the Covert Cloak. I feel like Shenpao is still getting the Focus Sash over here, okay? And then that means the Urshifu, you can get a couple of different things, but dude, Mystic Water, Urshifu in the rain, you might as well, right? I mean, it just makes sense. You don't have to reinvent any of the wheel. Just go with something that's consistent and proven, especially in the beginning, okay? Dragonite, hey, look, you can go with the Assault Vest variant, okay? I've been testing both the Assault Vest and the Choice Band even now. Of course, it's just always up for debate, depending on how you want to, play this kind of team. But honestly, I just like Choice Band, okay? I feel like Choice Band just really, really helps in terms of picking up the KOs. Extreme Speed, of course. Then the Terra Normal, Extreme Speed with Shenpao is still very, very good. Iron Head for the steel coverage. We're not going to have Heat Trend on this team, believe it or not. So we're going to need some steel coverage elsewhere, just to snipe other Flutter Mains. Aerial Ace, for your stab flying move with Choice Band. Really, really good at picking up Urshifu and Amoonguss. So definitely much needed, very, very much merit. Aqua Jet as well. Choice Band, Aqua Jet in the rain does quite a bit of damage. So, you might as well utilize that. So 2 Pokemon with Aqua Jet here, still very, very good. Like I said, also here, Shenpao. So basically, Ice Spinner, remove Indeedee's terrain if you ever have trouble with it. So even if they do bring Indeedee, just pop the Ice Spinner and it's gone. Sucker Punch, Sacred Sword, and then Protect, right? Sacred Sword, really, really good against steel moves. Steel types, I should say. And then honestly over here, let's bring back Flutter Mane, with the Photosynthesis, booster energy stuff. And then this will be our substitute Pokemon. Moonblast, Shadow Ball, Substitute, and Protect, right? So they bring Trick Room, I bring Shenpao, I click Ice Spinner, remove Indeedee, or I can bring Flutter Mane and click Substitute. The reason why I wanted to do Substitute here as opposed to here is because I really wanted the Grass Knot coverage. I feel like that it's really good against a lot of different meta options right now, especially against like Iron Bundle, Ursaluna, Urshifu. These are all Pokemon that don't want to be taking Grass Knot. So it's good to have that tech choice against it. Okay. Now that being said, you can technically just do like, Substitute here and Thunderbolt here. But again, I digress. It really just depends on you. So from here, we just go, just fix up the Terra options, EV spreads. So we'll just go max, nothing else you need to really do over here. And who else is going to be max? These other 2 options with Urshifu. Okay, just do this, and then Jolly Set. Now, if you want, you can definitely consider like a slower Urshifu, but more damage just because you have Tailwind. You can go Adamant 156, all right? And then from there, you can just put a little bit of bulk on the Urshifu, right? But I don't think you really need to do that, so to speak, just yet. But at least for now, just stick with the 252 set with the Urshifu, as well as like a Jolly Natured set. Still very, very good damage that you can do. And then of course the Shenpao Focus Sash set. Again, you can tell like this is pretty much a hyper offensive core Tailwind offense, like we said. And honestly, we're just gonna keep the same spreads that we did with Tornadus and Flutter Mane in the other video. I don't really see anything really you need to do with it. So, Terra Ghost, of course, survive against the Extreme Speed shenanigans. 172 investment. Okay, so now what you want to do here, here it is, 172 investment. So this will outspeed you know, the base 100s, right? But again, if you do that, you're gonna speed tie your own Landorus. So just watch out for that. So if anything, just make this 1 point faster, okay? And then like 169, that's already pretty good. All right, and then from there, just go like super bulk, right this. And the whole idea with this, again, with the optimization, this is gonna optimize against the sand chip from T-Char games, and then just a little bit more extra bulk in the defense stat, right? So very bulky Tornadus. And again, the whole idea with this bulk is you're surviving opposing Dragonite, Eat Speed, Choice Band, Adamant 252 without the Chien-Pao, as well as the Urshifu Surging Strikes, Adamant 156 especially, right? So you're able to take those relatively well. So yeah, and again, still outspeeding your own Landorus is actually very, very important. Urshifu over here. So yeah, oh yeah, we did it already. So Dragonite over here. So here's what I want to do. Adamant, you know, a lot of these Dragonites, sometimes they're now going for like 100 base speed, you know, just to outspeed the base 112s that want to outspeed the base 100s. Hey man, let's just go 108 now. You know, we're in the speed creep war, but I just want to go, like, you can go like 204 here and then just go like 188 HP. But if you don't want to do that, you can just drop him a little bit and just honestly just go max attack Choice Band Dragonite here with this much bulk. It's totally fine. There's no optimization rule here for this Dragonite this time around. I just want like full offense with the Choice Band. It matters in some of the Amoonguss and Urshifu damage calcs just a little bit. Like a 93% roll versus like an 80-something% roll. It's a decent difference. So for that matter, I just made it max attack, especially with like the aerial ace stuff. Okay, Flutter Mane. So I just want this to outspeed potential Garchomps. So we just put it at 124. Previously in Regulation C, you saw me go like max speed Flutter Mane, and then just did something like this, right? Where I just went to 116 and then just a little bit of bulk. This was to survive the Palafin Jet Punch shenanigans. But, you know, I haven't really seen too much Palafin all that moment. I guess it's still like running around a little bit. But at the very least, the whole idea with this set now with this bulky Flutter Mane is what you're able to do is now you can just survive other attacks like the Urshifu Rapid Strike for that matter. I think you can definitely live it now. And just a very bulky Flutter Mane set, you know, and again, in the best of 3, they don't know your EVs, right? So, you know, just having this extra bulk is very, very good. And it's still optimal for like sand chip damage at the end of the day too, okay? As far as like Terra options, I like Terra Steel, which is really nice in the rain. Especially you reduce the fire damage that you can take from a Flare Blitz potentially. And of course, it's great into the Flutter Mane mirror. You're not going to be taking that fairy damage or that Shadow Ball damage so much, right? Chien-Pao, Terra Ghost, another one is really, really good for that matter. So again, just dodging the fake out, dodging the E-Speed shenanigans. Dragonite can stay Terra normal. Urshifu, you can go Terra Grass for a defensive Terra if you want. You can get around Amoonguss that way as well, not get spored. Up to you. Or you can just go straight up offense with Terra Water. But again, it's up to you as the player. Here you can still, yeah, again, we kept it as Terra Ghost. Terra Ground is still good here. A little bit more extra Sandsear Storm damage. That's like a tongue twister, right? Sandsear Storm. So you can definitely do that. You know, just other things like, you know, you're weak to Urshifu sometimes. So you can even go like Terra Grass here, potentially. You know, if you want to go that route, that's also okay. But like just damage with that Terra option is just really, really good. Okay, so this is it. This is a very, very rough Landorus-Incarnate hyper offensive team that you can start with, you know, and bring it onto the ladder, test some ideas. But you saw from the results, I pulled the data together and based on that information, I recreated a squad like this, you know, just taking bits and pieces of what I saw from people's teams and just formulating something like this that should still be relatively solid and consistent, right? So now what we're going to do is we're going to just test it in a couple of games just to see how it performs. And then from there, we'll get you guys out of here. Okay, so this is basically, again, this is like Bronzong Trick Room with like a bunch of balance options with Heatran, Amoonguss, and Regieleki Landorus. Okay, so this is almost like a Series 9 team with like a Hisuian Arcanine. Like when I say Series 9, I meant like Sword and Shield era, right? But again, no Dynamax, right? So basically, when I look at something like this, I'm just really worried about the Bronzong. Not really worried. I should say I'm only worried about the Bronzong setting Trick Room. I don't care about everything else. I have a lot of options for what he has. So as long as you just taunt the Bronzong, you know, our options are better because we're faster and we hit harder. Okay, so that's really all I have to do is just taunt the Bronzong if he decides to bring it or lead it. Right, and I'm just going to use Urshifu and just punch through everything in the get-go. So that's my idea, because unless he leads Amoonguss, you know, he can't really stop it. So here's Tornadus and Urshifu as my lead, and he goes for Terra Grass Heatran early on, right? And that's what I wanted. Like, I force him to either switch or Terra Grass, because by going Terra Grass, what happens next turn? He's going to get Bleak Windstorm. So you can't really... That's why this core is, like, really, really good, okay? Because... you know, you have the Terra Grass to resist the Urshifu, but then you're just susceptible to the Bleak Windstorm. That's why, like, Urshifu Tornadus is really good in Regulation D. Okay, so we taught the Bronzong, and it's just safety goggles. It wasn't, you know, Mental Herb, so I was safe just doing this. Okay, and he actually just... okay, so he Earth Powers, but that's not what was surprising. He went for Imprison, man. Well, what was he trying to do that he thought that I was going to do by clicking Imprison? I thought he would at least click Trick Room. But he goes into Amoonguss. That really doesn't matter. I just wanted to punch the Bronzong. Like, I'm surprised he did that in the face of this. But again, you can't really do anything. And Overheat doesn't even pick up anyway. And clicking Rain Dance was a good play there. And it was a leftovers Amoonguss anyway. So that was an easy one. Like, next turn you just Bleak Wind Storm. You pick up the Heatran, but you probably don't pick up the Amoonguss. But that's okay, because again, you have an Urshifu over here just punching through. So, you know, he didn't really have much... you know, to stop us, you know, especially with this lead. So again, yeah, hyper offense. This one was more interesting. I was a big fan of like Garchomp and Zapdos back in Sword and Shield, and he has a pretty good balance core. You know, with Dragon Fairy, Steel, Fire, Water, Grass, with the Heatran and the Rillaboom concept. I'm sure that one of these Pokemon has substitute, probably the Full Auto Main, you know, just in the face of like, you know, potential Trick Room games. But again, this Zapdos most likely has Discharge. All right, without a doubt. All right, and then it's just good synergy, right? And of course, it probably has Tailwind as well. So yeah, but again, you know, I just wanted to lead Dragonite here. Like, honestly, at the time, it wasn't the best bring, you know, just because I was the Assault Vest variant. But I wanted to do a Tornadus Dragonite first, and he goes with Chien-Pao and Zapdos. So he has a little bit more pressure. My Dragonite's going to be doing a little bit more damage now, just because he brought his Chien-Pao. You know, and from here, his Zapdos, you know, again, it has Discharge, it has Tailwind, and it might have Roost. I don't know. He didn't do the team sheet thing, so I have no idea. But at the very least, I'm gonna switch out into Chien-Pao here. I don't want to just die right off the top. I want to preserve my Tailwind. I want to stagger it. So there's my E-Speed. He actually goes for Ice Shard. Oh man, I almost forgot this thing gets Ice Shard. But if it did have a Sash, it is broken, and he also broke my Sash. So yeah. And the Zapdos decides to, of course, go for his Tailwind. So he has all the speed control right now. But again, I have priority. So I can kind of take advantage here. Right? He goes Terra Electric Zapdos. He protects the Chien-Pao. Good protect. Because that's exactly the target I was aiming for. Okay? And he goes for Discharge. And he chips everything. My Chien-Pao and my Dragonite here. He goes into Garchomp. You know, I just wanted to protect the Chien-Pao at least one more turn. And my Dragonite is just going to go for an Iron Head here, which is good chip damage into a Garchomp, actually, right? That's very good chip. And by the way, he Terra Electric, so that's actually really good for my Landorus in the back, because now I can actually hit this thing and pretty much just kill it. Okay, so I'm going to go into my Landorus here because I know he's going for the Discharge combination. I don't care about Dragonite dying here because next turn I'm just going to bring in my Tornadus for free and just go for Rain Dance here, you know, go for the super effective. By the way, this Garchomp went first, so that means he was Scarf, right? Because my Landorus is max speed. Okay, so that was unfortunate. If I had known in the team sheets that this thing was Scarf, I'm just clicking Tailwind and I'm clicking, you know, the Bleak Windstorm, right? And just, you know, play for luck right there, right? Because I have no idea of knowing, but again, you know, he's Scarf, so that's okay. But here's the Bleak Wind Storm, here's the Sandsear Storm, and we pick up both KOs, so that's really good. So the power of Landorus, again, is really nice. But again, that was just a super effective move against an electric type. So Chien-Pao Heatran, so he already burned his Terra, and I know he has Ice Shard, so I don't want to lose the Landorus immediately, so I just want to protect from here, and this is probably a misplay from me. You know, I was going for Tailwind here. I should have just went for Bleak Wind Storm. Okay, that was probably my bad, but my thought process was I just wanted to make sure I had the speed control in the end, but I forgot that, you know, he can just click Ice Shard and then both of these actually just drop. Okay, but I pretty much have to hard switch here because I don't want to die, and I have to just try for a Bleakwind Storm here. So there's the Ice Shard like I thought he would do. And I don't pick up the Chien-Pao there, unfortunately. Right? If I picked it up, I probably would have just hard won from there. Because I have a Landorus in the back. But because it stays alive, you know, it gets a little interesting. But that being said, yeah, and he connects on the Heat Wave, right? So now I have to just like make some hard reads here. Here's my Landorus. Like, again, he went for Protect. I have no idea why he went for Protect. Okay, that's beyond me. He could have just easily clicked Ice Shard. But again, he's probably thinking that I'm going to Protect against his Ice Shard, and then I'm just going for Bleakwind Storm. But I did not do that. You know, I kind of made the read that he would read it. But all he had to do was just click Ice Shard and win, right? So because of that, he pays the price, going for that hard read there, and I get to win in the end just because, you know, I figured he would do the CIC, like even Sucker Punch just KOs, right? And there's the Bleakwind Storm to wrap things up there. So sometimes you have to make a play like that because, like, the only reason I did that, right? He saw me go for Protect the other turn before, so he might think, oh, he's probably just gonna do it again. So I'm just gonna protect my Chien-Pao first, and then, you know, hopefully my Heatran can finish the job. The only problem with that is I pick up your Heatran anyway, right? By doing that. So you know, he kind of forgot that idea. So but I made the hard read and it paid off for me in that game, right? But overall, I don't think I should have brought Dragonite there. I think Urshifu or Fluttermane would have been a much better bring. But yeah, that's okay. But yeah, there you go. Let me know how you do if you do try out this Landorus-Incarnate team. Again, I just think it's really good on these, you know, Tailwind offensive cores, especially with like another Genie on the team, whether it be Thundurus or Tornadus here. I think just, you know, taking full advantage of the 100% accurate Sandsear Storm in the rain is just great to start out with, you know, especially when you're just first learning how to use this Pokemon. If you didn't use it already, whether it be like, you know, Arceus or even in Sword and Shield, or even like in previous generations, right? I feel like this is just something that you can get your feet wet with. And then after that, you know, when you played a bunch of games or tried it out in some online tournament, then you can make some changes, you know, based on some meta threats that you see at the given moment. But at least I gave you a starting point here, and I showed you some other teams that are, you know, exploring some different ideas. But, you know, I just wanted to give you guys something just to, you know, get things going, right, with Landorus-Incarnate. But, you know, that's it for now. So again, you know, we have a Discord server. So if you want to join the Discord, you know, and you want to interact with me and some of the members of my community, feel free to join my Discord. Other than that, if you are interested in Regulation D team building and you need some help, you know, schedule a one-on-one call with me by, you know, registering with a tier 3 sub to the channel. If you look at the video description below, there is a link to join the channel, or if you look in the comment section of the channel, with every video, I also post that same link where you can click it and join with the tier 3, or every single video has a join button where, again, it'll bring you to the same link to join the channel with the tier 3 sub. And then you can message me on Discord, and then we can schedule our one-on-one Discord call. So this way we can get you that Regulation D team that you need to start the format. All right, that's going to do it for now, folks. We'll be back with another video in the next one. Peace out.